Hi, welcome to Into Health, and today we're gonna discuss the earth element and the acupuncture channels of the stomach and the spleen. The earth element in Chinese medicine corresponds to the end of each season. There's a little bit parenthesis here. So initially in Chinese medicine there were 4 elements. It's the same as the Ayurvedic method. And then they introduced an extra element later on, which is the earth element. So they positioned the earth element in the middle, and they also placed it at the end of each season because it's sort of, it also ties in with the theory of it, but it was a convenient way of doing it to put it in somewhere, okay? So it corresponds to the end of each season and the transition period between the end of one season and the beginning of the new one. The chi of the earth element flourishes in the Indian summer, so those nice and beautiful days that you get, those summery days, late summer days that you get at the end of the summer. That's one of basically the earth element. If you look at nature, you see that the soil is the center stage of seeds, roots and plants to grow. It gives us ground to build shelter. So also by looking at how her earth behaves in nature, then you can get a good idea of how that can work inside your body and the potential problems that can occur. If the earth energy flows well, the soil is fertile, the plants grow, the leaves are green, the roots have nourishment and support. But if it is too damp, then it clogs up and it drains the resources. If it is too dry, it does not nourish. So there has to be a good balance of water for the soil to work, not too moist, neither too dry. So otherwise the soil will not nourish optimally. In nature, the earth is the symbol of fertility, abundance, nurturing, and the feminine principle. And in Chinese medicine, the earth is at the center and it is a stabilizing force for all the other elements. So while the wood and the fire energy expand and the metal and water elements contract, earth is in the middle, balancing all these transitions. And that's why it's been put at the end of each season. So there's a little bit of earth in every season. For this reason, earth is the home of all the elements and the stable center where they are all grounded. So in the human life cycle, earth represents the middle years, the time of stabilization and the creation of home, family, livelihood and community. It is a time of maturity when we become independent and capable of nourishing others as well as ourselves. In the body, the organs that correspond to the earth seasons are the spleen and the stomach. The earth element is in charge of the transformation and transportation of the food and the fluids. So they are basically key on you being able to extract the nourishment from everything that you take in form of food or fluids. And it governs the digestion and the absorption of all those nutrients. For this reason, the spleen and the stomach build blood and energy, which we call qi, and is the primary source of energy and well-being. Also, the earth element and the stomach and the spleen are also seen as what you acquire in terms of energy after you've been born, whereas the kidneys, for example, are seen as your pre-genetic things, so what you've inherited from your DNA and what you've inherited from your parents, okay? So in this central role that they have in the body, the spleen and the stomach are in charge of distributing the energy in the body, and the spleen energy sends the energy up to the heart and the lungs to create energy and blood, while the stomach sends the chi downwards to be reabsorbed and what we don't need eliminated. So imbalances between the spleen and the stomach can result in nausea, vomiting, belching, or diarrhea. The spleen, with its upward movement, also holds the organs in place, so imbalances can result in prolapsing of organs like hemorrhoids or the uterus prolapsing. And it also holds the bloods in the vessel, and it nourishes the flesh of the muscles. So imbalances can cause also easy bruising, muscle flaccidity, muscle fatigue, chronic fatigue. And for the earth element, problems tend to develop between earth and water, so the spleen and the kidneys, and earth and wood, which is the spleen and the liver. The earth restrains the water and the wood restrains the earth. So the spleen and kidneys organize the distribution and storage of fluids, whereas the spleen and the liver govern the allocation and supply of energy and blood. Imbalances of this relationship create stagnation of chi, fluids, and blood. When the energy of the earth is depleted, you can suffer from fatigue, loose stools, dry skin, poor appetite, short, scanty periods, obesity, mental tiredness, frequent bruises, sleepiness after meals, difficulty in concentration, this feeling of a muzzy head as well. And when the earth energy is in excess, you can suffer again from this muzziness of the head, a heavy feeling in the head and the body in general, a dull frontal headaches or sort of around this area here, yeast infections like candida or thrush, sinus congestions, obesity, nausea. And emotionally, the earth element is in charge of intention and will, and the ability to discern what to accept from the outside. When an idea resonates with your heart, it creates intention, and when you hold your intention, it becomes the will. A weakness on intention and will may result in lack of differentiation with regards to outside idea and psychic forces. Because they cannot decide, people with an imbalanced earth element often tend to overthink and worry, and their living environment is often cluttered. The earth type person tends to care for others at the expense of oneself, has obsessive thoughts and muddled thinking with poor concentration. As you can imagine, it's quite important to keep the stomach and the spleen energy in good balance. This can be done by making changes to your lifestyle, diet, and exercise. And basically, there's a lot of newsletters that focus on the diet and exercises, but also there is that yoga class that is coming now into my channel that is focusing on activating and opening the spleen and stomach channels. As you can see from the charts that I've put up here, the stomach channel starts straight after the lungs. So basically within the body, the energy starts flowing in each channel for about 2 hours every day. There's 12 channels in the body, and therefore within 24 hours the energy starts flowing from one organ to the other in a certain order. That's why I started the acupuncture classes, the yoga classes, in that order. So it starts with the lung and the large intestine, and that's at 3 o'clock in the morning. So 3 o'clock in the morning, it starts the new cycle of energy during the day. From 3 to 5 o'clock is the lungs, from 5 to 7 o'clock is the large intestine, from 7 to 9 o'clock is the stomach, and from 9 to 11 is the spleen. Okay, so the stomach channel starts at the bottom of your eye, and it whirls around the head going into the front of the body. The spleen channel then starts from the big toe, goes on the inside of the leg, and then it meets up again into the front of the torso to then finish to the sides of the body. So the acupuncture channel class that I've designed is basically to stretch that part of the torso as well as the front of the legs, so that you can basically activate that channel and also promote the flow of blood and energy, which we call chi, into those channels. Okay, thank you for watching today. If you've got any questions, please comment below and I'll be very happy to comment on them. Okay, and see you again in another video of Into Health. Bye bye.